Today is 657 day to come here to share lessons I learn. I'm learning. I hope this also supports your dreams, your goals, allow you to become the person that you want to become. Why so many people believe that sales is pushy, is manipulation? Because I truly believe that people do not understand what is sales and how to do sales. Because a lot of times people want to really manipulate and get the sale, get the commission, make money. But at the same time, this is not what sales are supposed to be. What sales is supposed to be? Sales is about change and helping people transform their lives. That means that we need to really understand that it's a huge difference between really telling someone to do something rather than figure out what he needs to do to get the thing that he wants. Because I learned that sales is active listening. Active listening is all about active listening. Because if you really able to listen, understand, really allow other person to feel heard. Now, when you need to offer something and you give that a solution for their problem, now you know deep down in your heart that this is the best thing for them. So that is very important to really understand that when you active listen and you are working very hard to understand their situation, you ask a lot of open-ended questions and fully engage in a conversation, and you don't tell anything, and just at the end you say, oh, that makes sense. And now because of this problem, you really don't want to stay in that problem. You have that goal in mind, and this is the best solution. But now what happens when you really don't ask questions? You don't understand. You don't understand other person. You don't understand their problem. You don't understand their goals. You don't understand why it's important, what kind of impact it has on them. Now, and because of that, you start to feel that you're pushy, manipulation, and all the bad stuff. Now you still need to make money, so you start pushing things on people that they're not supposed to do. Or you're pushing for wrong reasons. That is a big misconnection, because a lot of times people push solutions on other person for wrong reasons. And this person, this is not the reason that I am looking for. And of course, he will reject, even though that this solution will help to solve his problem. But because this person is afraid, he's looking for a way out, and because now you say not the right things, of course he said, oh no, I'm out, this is not for me. But sales is all about change, like really helping people to overcome their change, their belief about change, because sometimes people stay in the same place for 5, 10, 20 years, and you need to overcome their fear of change, because a lot of times people say that known is better than unknown, even though that unknown could be much better, but a known terrible thing could be better than unknown that potentially could be the best thing for them. So that means we need to really stand for that person. We need to really stand for that person and really help them overcome and break their patterns of thinking, how they think, because no one else will do. If they're stuck for 10 years, probably will not be able to figure out on their own. So someone needs to change, and it could be that you need to be able to help ask right questions that they could think and reflect on all the ways of doing and say, yeah, I really need to change it. It's much more risky to stay in where I am rather than moving forward. So when you're able to do that, and this is called more persuasion sometimes as well, but again, we need to look into persuasion, because a lot of times people start to believe that persuasion is manipulation, and it's people, I don't want to persuade anyone. But if you understand that other person is suffering, and if you not persuade them to do the right thing for themselves, they will still suffer. And when you realize that during active listening, you understood them very well, you know that they are suffering at the moment, they will be kicked out of where they live because they don't take care of themselves, you need to persuade them to really take action. And that is a beautiful thing, because that's what I learned this year about sales, but that sales could help transform people's lives, and you need to stand for that person because nobody else will. And when you understand that, persuasion is a good part to really help them to persuade themselves, because at the end of the day, persuasion is more about asking right questions to really help them to realize that they need to take action, they really need to move forward. But today we'll cover 8 mental triggers to persuade someone to buy. I learned that from Brandon Bouchard, and I would love to share that because I found that is useful. It's not the end game, but again, because the most number one game is really asking the right questions that they could persuade themselves. But at the same time, that we have, if someone like just small piece is missing and really needs some extra support to them to make the decision, of course we need to find positive persuasion methods that we could help them to finally make the decision and really help to transform their lives. So number one is novelty. What's new? Some people really all excited. Something new came up, and they want to be the first person to take that part. So if your product service has something new to offer, of course, it's very important to really emphasize that. Number two is utility and usefulness. So I'm more utility usefulness guy, that I really care about how that will help. What is the practical use of this? Because if I'm like, I never buy things just because of new or it's nice. Really, I'm very, very practical. So like we need to see, okay, how that potential will be useful when you purchase that. Number three is pride, or we can say that ego in the game. So a lot of times people want to buy things just only for the ego. And sometimes it's a good start, but it's a very bad finish. It's a good start, but very bad finish. So when you help someone else to transform and really help to make decision through ego, because they have high ego, and then work on that during the transition and training, and realize that ego is not the way to go, then of course able to help to transform their lives. Number four is popularity. And this is a question of who else is doing it. That is a very, very big point a lot of times. People looking for third-party approval, and if they doing, they know something more. I know that they are very smart, so if they doing, so I will do as well. So like it's very, very powerful to include, if you have that, what are the other people who using the same thing. Number five are aspirational connections. So what people aspire to be. So what they have that model. So it could be Elon Musk, like Jeff Bezos, or anyone that is very, very well known. And that when you know who they admire, now be able to bring what the aspirational leaders do to really grow in their life, and bring and ask, do you do what they do? Because if you want to become as they, you need to act like them. So that means your identity needs to switch a little bit and really understand that sometimes we need to take action, even though that we don't feel comfortable, because Elon Musk for sure takes action no matter what. He feels comfortable or doesn't feel comfortable, he makes decisions, he just takes action and moves forward. Number six is benefit extension. And this is very powerful for me as well. So number six is very powerful, because that means that when you will change, when you improve, what will change around you? That means that it will change community, it will change your family. What will change? Because if you start making 15K instead of 5K, what will happen then? Who will be impacted when you triple your income? Of course, there's a lot of different sales, but like if as ROI investment, that means that, or like weight loss. So let's say that you used to weigh 80 kilograms, and now you weight 50 kilograms, and you are feeling that you're much, much better around yourself. How will that impact people around you? So there's a lot of things that really your decisions impact other people, and that is very powerful. Number seven is scarcity. Of course, that is like very simple: limited amount, limited quantity, limited time, and it's just of course not able to use very often. But at the same time, you're sometimes able to push that a person to really take that action, final step. And last one is fulfillment, or personally satisfied. So fulfillment, like what kind of fulfillment a person will get out of it, and that is very, very important, because I'm a fulfillment person as well. I love fulfillment. I love pursuing significance and making a difference. And if I know that when I will do and I will take action, I will be able to make a difference. I will be able to add value to people. I know that I will take that offer a lot of times, because that's what I do. I make a difference, and I really always pursue fulfillment. Now, there's a lot of different triggers. That is just a scratch, and I really love that every person has different persuasion things that they are looking for. But again, because limited amount, limited quantity is not a thing that will push me. Like if I know that life is long, and there is always will be limited amount, limited quantity. Everyone is playing with that card, and I know that I will never be influenced by that, but I know there is a lot of people who get very, very influenced by limited time. Yeah, so as I said, that's the number one thing that I really want to really get into today is that sales is really about change. That's Jeremy Miner and a lot of people say that. But at the same time, if you really want to help somebody to change, the number one thing that you need to do is really work very, very hard to active listening. Learn how to listen. Learn how to understand them. Because a lot of times what people do when you speak with them, they minimize their own goals. They minimize their own pain. They minimize a lot of things. And because they minimize all those things, they don't take action. So that means what we need to do. We need to then help prospects understand that they minimize those things. We need to show the true picture of their pain, true picture of their goals, true picture how important it is to change. Because if they don't change, in 5 years could be even worse. So that's why active listening is essential. And of course, at the same time, asking the right questions. And when you understand a person, we will do the best thing for them. So I hope you choose to win and see you tomorrow.